up? It's Rich here with Statifying Football. This is week 11. These are the noon games, so a bunch here. Just jump right in. Miami taking on Virginia Tech. Pretty big game in the ACC. Miami, they had an awesome win against North Carolina State. Went back and forth. They won 44-41. Derek King went off. 430 passing yards, 5 touchdown passes, plus 105 rushing yards. Mike Harley, 8 catches, 153 and 2 touchdowns. They had 620 yards of offense. They had 12 penalties. They need to stop that, but their offense is rolling. Virginia Tech, they lost in a really close game that I thought they may lose to Liberty, who's ranked and undefeated. Awesome game, too. Went back and forth. Virginia Tech lost on a last-second field goal. They lost 38-35. Hendon Hooker, 217 passing yards, 3 touchdown passes, plus 156 rushing yards and a touchdown. Defensively, they had 3 sacks, 2 turnovers. I think this is going to go back and forth. I think both offenses are rolling right now. I'm going to give Miami the slight edge just because of Derek King, but this literally could go either way. Indiana and Michigan State. Indiana's 3-0. They just beat Michigan. They're actually up to number 10 in the country right now. They beat Michigan 38-21. Michael Penix Jr., 342 passing, 3 touchdowns. Stevie Scott, 97 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Ty Fryfogle, 7 catches, 142 and a touchdown. Michigan State, they got killed by Iowa, 49-7. Rocky Lombardi, terrible game. 17 of 37, 227, 3 interceptions. Jalen Naylor was about all they had. 4 catches, 119 yards. I'm going to go Indiana. I think Indiana's offense is good. I think they keep kind of rolling a little bit. I think they should come out with a victory here. All right, Georgia, Missouri. Georgia is who we thought they were. They suck. They got destroyed by Florida, 44-28. They had 2 quarterbacks combined for 9 of 29, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Zamir White, he ran for 107 yards and a touchdown, but 75 was on the opening play of the game. The rest of the game, he couldn't do shit. They only had 277 yards and 3 turnovers. Missouri, their last game was a few weeks ago, too, against Florida, which they lost 41-17. Bazelak, 208 passing yards. They only had 40 rushing yards in that game. I think this will actually be pretty close. I'm not high on Georgia, but I do think they're a little more talented than Missouri. So I think Georgia wins in a close game. All right, Coastal Carolina and Troy. Coastal Carolina, they're still undefeated. They're ranked 15th in the country. They had a close, quote-unquote, close win against South Alabama. They won 23-6. Grayson McCall, 2-9 passing, a touchdown plus 72 rushing. Defensively is how they got it done. They had 5 sacks in that game. Troy lost a really close game to Georgia Southern, 20-13. Jacob Free, 201 passing, but 2 interceptions. They only had 235 total yards. Coastal Carolina, Troy could upset them. They have that offense to do it, but I think this is going to be Coastal Carolina's game to win. All right, Liberty, awesome game against Virginia Tech. They're taking on 1AA Western Carolina. They shouldn't have had any trouble with this. They beat Virginia Tech 38-35. Malik Willis, 217 passing, 3 touchdowns, plus 108 rushing and a touchdown. They had 466 yards of offense there. They should have no trouble with Western Carolina. Wake Forest and North Carolina. This is a big ACC game and could be a shootout. Wake Forest, a few weeks ago, they beat Syracuse 38-14. Sam Hartman, 250 passing, a touchdown. Jakari Robinson, 7 catches, 130 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, they held Syracuse to only 221 yards, had 3 turnovers, and had a pick 6. North Carolina destroyed Duke 56-24. Sam Howell, 235 passing, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Javonte Williams, 151 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. They ran for 338, put up 573 total. Defensively had 5 sacks. I'm going to go North Carolina here. I think they have a little too much offense here, but this really could go. I mean, this could be like a 63-50 kind of win for North Carolina. So I'll go North Carolina to get that edge. All right, TCU and West Virginia. This could be a pretty close game. TCU is coming off a nice win against Texas Tech, 34-18. Max Duggan, not good passing at all. 11 of 23 for 73 yards and a pick, but he ran for 154 yards and 3 touchdowns. They had 270 rushing as a team. Defensively, they had 5 sacks. O'Shawn Mathis had 3 on his own. West Virginia lost a tight game to Texas, only 17-13. Jarrett Dagey, 317 passing. I think this will be pretty close, but I think West Virginia is a pretty good team this year, and I'm going to give them the edge to beat TCU. All right, Vanderbilt and Kentucky. Vanderbilt, they lost in a close game to Mississippi State, 24-17. Ken Seals, 336 passing and a touchdown, but he had 3 interceptions. Keon Harry Book, Henry Brooks ran for 115 and a touchdown and had 11 catches for 97 yards. Cam Johnson had 10 catches for 114 yards. They actually outgained Mississippi State by almost 2.5. It was 478 to 204, but they had 5 turnovers in that game, and that's pretty much why they lost. UK, Kentucky, they lost their game a couple of weeks ago against Georgia, 14-3. They didn't really have much going on offense other than Chris Rodriguez ran for 108. I think Kentucky, I'm not big on Kentucky, but I think they do bounce back and should be able to get a victory over Vanderbilt, but this may be closer than a lot of people expect. All right, Illinois and Rutgers. Illinois, they got killed by Minnesota 41-14. Corin Taylor, 6 of 17, 106 yards and a touchdown, plus 42 rushing. Mike Epstein ran for 108 yards and a touchdown. Rutgers, they did lose to Ohio State, but they kind of held their own. They lost 49-27. No veteran, 165 passing. They had a punt return touchdown there. I think Rutgers, they've looked pretty improved this year. This could be kind of close, but I'm going to give Rutgers the victory over Illinois. All right, Army and Tulane. This is going to be a whole lot of running in both sides. Army, they haven't played in a few weeks. Their last game was a few weeks ago. A big win over Mercer, 40-93, where they ran for 297 yards. Tulane had a nice win against East Carolina. They went 38-21. Michael Pratt, 216 passing, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Cameron Carroll, 129 rushing and 2 touchdowns. They had 493 yards. Defensively, they had 5 sacks, with Patrick Johnson having 3. He's actually leading the nation right now individually. He's got 9 sacks all on his own. This is going to go back and forth, but I'll give the slight edge to Army. All right, Penn State, Nebraska. Penn State's not looking that good. They lost to Maryland 35-19. Clifford, 340 passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Jahan Dawson, 9 catches, 123 and a touchdown. They had 3 turnovers in that loss. Nebraska, they're looking even worse. They lost to Northwestern 21-13. They had 2 quarterbacks play. Adrian Martinez, 12 of 27, 125 and a pick, but he ran for 102. Luke McCaffrey came in, though, was 12 of 16 for 93 yards. He also threw a pick, and he ran for 49 yards. Either way, I think Penn State will be the one to bounce back from 2 straight losses to win this one. Charlotte playing Gardner-Webb. Charlotte hasn't played in a few weeks since they lost big to Duke 53-19. They shouldn't have much trouble with Gardner-Webb. All right, Middle Tennessee, they haven't played in a few weeks either. This is Middle Tennessee and Marshall. Middle Tennessee, their last win was against Rice in a double overtime. Austin Illinois 40-34. Asher O'Hara 333 passing, 2 touchdowns plus 69 rushing and 2 touchdowns. CJ Whittingham 7 catches, 109 and a touchdown in that one. Whereas Marshall, they had a big win against UMass 51-10. Grant Wells 228 passing, 3 touchdowns. Brandon Knox 118 rushing and 2 touchdowns. Defensively had 4 sacks. This could be close because Middle Tennessee does have a potentially explosive offense with Asher O'Hara, but I think Marshall, they're undefeated, they're rolling, they're ranked 16th in the country. I think they get this victory here. All right, then we go to South Alabama and Louisiana Lafayette. Again, possibly close game. USA lost to Coastal Carolina 23-6. Desmond Trotter 243 passing there. Louisiana Lafayette, they won a close game against Arkansas State 27-20. Levi Lewis 244 passing, a touchdown, a pick, plus 1 rushing. This potentially could be high scoring, but Louisiana Lafayette has been really, really good, so I'll give them the win there. All right, Georgia State, Appalachian State, another possible shootout. Georgia State, they rebounded from being shut out a couple weeks ago. They went all over Louisiana Monroe 52-34. Cornelius Brown 241 passing, 3 touchdowns plus 1 rushing. Destin Coates 102 rushing, 2 touchdowns. McCoy 7 catches, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. They put up 504 yards of offense. They had 6 sacks in that game and 3 turnovers. Appalachian State, they didn't have much trouble with Texas State. They won 38-17. Zach Thomas 168 passing but 3 touchdowns. Dietrich Harrington 113 rushing. They had a pick 6. I really think this is going to go either way, but Appalachian State has been running Sunbelt for a few years now, so this is I think this will go to them, but it'll be a pretty close one, so keep an eye on that one. All right, then we got Fresno, Utah State. Fresno, they beat UNLV 40-27. Jake Haener 164 passing and a touchdown. Ronnie Rivers went all over them for 133 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Defensively, they had 6 sacks themselves. Whereas Utah State, they ended up firing their head coach. They got killed by Nevada 34-9. Jason Shelley wasn't great, 96 passing yards and a touchdown. They had 4 sacks, but that was about it. Fresno State should win big here. All right, Louisiana Monroe and Arkansas State. Louisiana Monroe, they got killed by Georgia State 52-34. Although Jeremy Hunt came in instead of Colby Suits, he had a good game statistically, 339 passing, 3 touchdowns. Perry Carter, 4 catches, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Arkansas State, they played it close against Louisiana Lafayette, but they lost 27-20. Logan Bonner, 127 passing, but 2 picks. Landon Hatcher, 97 passing yards and a touchdown. Lincoln Pear, 121 rushing. Arkansas State's got too much offense for Louisiana Monroe to keep up with. I think Arkansas State wins that one. All right, UTEP hasn't played in a while. Their last game was a few weeks ago against Charlotte. They won 38-28. Hardison, 204 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Deion Hankins, 119 rushing and a touchdown. Justin Garrett, 9 catches, 107 and 2 touchdowns. UTSA, they lost their last game a few weeks ago, 24-3 against FAU. And in that game, Frank Harris, 12-26 passing, 109. Not really good. He did run for 66 yards there. This could be actually pretty close. I'm actually going to give that edge to UTSA jumping back for a win. All right, North Texas, UMB. This is actually a really big one in this USA. North Texas hasn't played in a few weeks. Their last game was a 52-35 win against MTSU. And in that game, Jason Bean, 181 passing, 2 touchdowns. He ran for 169 and 3 touchdowns. DeAndre Terry, 143 rushing and 2 touchdowns. Trey Siggers, 101 rushing. Jalen Darden, 10 catches, 204 yards. They had 768 yards in that game and 5 sacks. Whereas UAB, they lost a few weeks ago, 37-34 to Louisiana Tech in double overtime. They had 2 quarterbacks combined, 11-23 for 147 and 2 picks. Brown ran for 140 and 2 touchdowns. McBride ran for 133 and 2 touchdowns and ran for 338 yards. North Texas has the offense. UAB's got the defense. This really could go either way. I'm going to give UAB a slight edge. Maybe they can get that running game going, keep the North Texas offense off the field, but this really could go down to the wire. All right, last game of the noon games. USF Houston. USF had a 33-20 lead on Memphis with like 3 minutes left, and they gave it up. They lost 34-33. Noah Johnson played pretty well. 217 passing, 2 touchdowns. They had a pick 6, but they could not close it off. Houston got killed by Cincinnati 38-10, 289 passing and a pick. I'm actually going to go USF this year. They only won one game, but they've looked good their last few games. They should be a really good Memphis team. I'm going to say they get another win and they beat Houston here. All right, those are the noon games. Check out my other videos for my 3:30 games, my primetime games, and everything else. Peace.